Hey, it's me, Jonathan, your finance brother. Here's my simple 3-step guide to network. That way you can actually get on the phone with people and hopefully get that interview and ultimately land a job. I'll be walking through in 3 steps. 1, how to outreach to people via either a cold or a warm introduction. 2, what to actually do on your networking call. And then 3, how to segue that networking call into further networking opportunities and hopefully ultimately an interview with someone at the firm. So this is all going to be available. You can just cut and paste the email that I'm going to use here on my Substack. You can tweak it slightly depending on what context you want to use it in, but I'm going to basically frame this from the perspective of someone who is in college looking for an internship or is a young professional starting out for full-time roles. So starting with the email, hi, person's name, nice to connect over email. It was great speaking last week on the campus networking event about insert conversation topic. You want to insert a topic that you talk to this person about. That way they remember who you are. They're not gonna maybe remember your name, like, oh, that's that guy I talked to on XYZ thing, the football game or traveling or whatever it was that you made a connection on, whether it was work or personal related. You want to make sure you highlight that there. That way they put like kind of a face to the name. The next thing is I was excited to learn more about XYZ thing you talked about and noticed that your company worked on news you found interesting. And this just highlights a genuine interest and a reason that they're going to want to hop on the phone with you. And companies post things and talk about things all the time, all over the internet about the stuff that they're working on. If you can highlight a genuine interest in why you want to reach out and learn about the company and learn about the industry, that's super, super helpful in terms of legitimizing why you want to speak to this person. And then if you have a few minutes this week, it'd be great to learn more. Happy to connect whenever is most convenient for you. I've also attached my resume for reference. There's a couple things I want to say about this. The first one is, I promise you, you are not more busy as a college student than someone who is working full time. You have to make yourself available to speak to them. And what I'll say to this is, and this came up a lot when I was in college, it's like, oh, like Wednesday I have class or I have this or I have that. You're going to college to get a job. At least most people are. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about the priority of what you should be doing. Like, you are going to get a college degree, typically speaking, so you can get gainful employment after that college experience. So in my mind, job takes precedent. Maybe not everyone agrees with that. Maybe not for everyone that's the case. But for me, that's how I like to think about it. And then best, because you are the best. Jonathan, don't put Jonathan if your name's not Jonathan, but you know what I mean. The couple things I'll say here just to watch out for is, notice how this is very, very short, succinct, and to the point. There are people, when they send networking emails, that are paragraphs long. No one wants to hear your life story. Keep it short, succinct, to the point. Make sure you address the person by their first name, and make sure you don't have one of these like crazy email signatures. If you're emailing someone in a corporate environment and your email signature as a college kid or someone who's just starting out is longer than theirs, that's gonna look weird. And the last thing I'll say is, make sure to attach your resume. If you're saying I'm attaching my resume, make sure that you say you attach it. Again, I have a ton of videos on how to format and put together a resume in a way that's professional and good. Step 2, the actual networking call. So beforehand, come prepared with at least 6 to 7 questions. You want to have things prepared. Obviously, the objective of the networking call just should be to make it as conversational as possible. But to the extent that you like run out of topics to talk about, make sure you have some things off the cuff that you can speak about. Questions to avoid, things like, what are the hours like? What is a typical day like? What is the group culture like? These, in my mind, are throwaway questions. You want to ask questions that demonstrate, 1, you have a genuine interest in the company or the industry. 2, that you're able to think and do a good job. And 3, just show general like inquisitive nature and curiosity. Like, people want people at the junior level who are excited to be there, who are curious, who want to learn. I know that these sound like throwaway words, but for people that have been doing this for 20, 25 years, like, they kind of do look to analysts and interns as people who kind of have a nice, happy view on the world. Like, it's easy to become cynical if you do the same job for 25, 30 years if you don't love it. So seeing someone that is genuinely passionate about it definitely helps. So questions to ask are like, things that you read related to the company, your ability to demonstrate how you think. So if you learned about, if this is for a finance interview, you learned about a finance concept in the classroom, but you see it applied in a different way in the real world setting, or an economics principle, or whatever it may be, marketing, whatever you've studied, ask like what made that different, why is it different application in the real world versus the classroom. Again, shows curiosity about the business and the industry. And then also ask about industry trends. Like, you read this article, it says it's going in this direction. How does that affect your company? How does that affect the marketing industry? How does that affect whatever it is that you're working on or interested in? It doesn't just have to be finance. It could be consulting. It could be whatever industry. These questions are pretty generally applicable, just to demonstrate that you're knowledgeable about it, that you read about it, that you enjoy it, and you're passionate about it. And the objective of the call is to have a good 30-minute conversation where you basically do as little of the talking as humanly possible. If you can have them talk for 29 minutes and 59 seconds of the call, and you just sit there and listen, that's the best possible outcome. People love to hear themselves talk. The less you talk, the better. Obviously, you need to ask questions, make it conversational, but if you can talk less and let them talk more, that's fantastic. And then after the call, this is what's really important and what people mess up, and which is why step 3 is so important, is you need to segue that into talking to more people in the group. And the reason being is that if you talk to a junior person, they're not necessarily going to have the sway to unilaterally get you an internship or a job. It's a lot of times there are multiple people within the group that need to get to know you, especially at the senior level, and you need to make sure that when you apply for the resume, you go for the interview, that multiple people know who you are, can pull your resume and your name out of the stack, and hopefully get you that job or get you that interview. And then finally, step 3, the thank you email. So hi, person's name. Thank you again for taking the time this afternoon to connect. I really enjoyed learning about the thing that you spoke to them about where they seemed most passionate, the thing that they talked about the longest. And here's what I'm saying again. It'd be great to learn more about XYZ company or group. If there are other folks within the team that you think would be good to speak with, especially just saying if you want to speak to other people, you can phrase this however you want. You see, like, I didn't read it correctly, but that's essentially what it's saying is, how do I speak with other people in the group? Please put me in touch. And what I would say there, and then looking forward to staying in touch, best because you're the best, Jonathan. And what I would say about this is you want to talk to, call it 5 to 6 or 7 people, and you want them to range from junior to mid-level to senior. And when you get on the phone with that senior person, it's really compelling when you can say, I've spoken to 5 people. I've spoken to these people, name them, talked about these things. I'm really interested in the role. I'm really interested in the company, in the group, in the firm, all these different things. And I've confirmed it through talking to all these people. I'd really love to apply for an internship. I'd really love to apply for a job. Is there a place where I can do it? And that senior person has the sway, has the ability to pull your name out of the resume, your resume out of the stack, and get you that interview. And hopefully you're off to the races.